Please rise. This meeting will come to order for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Benjamin. Here. Veronic. Here. Baylor.
Here.
Kasdorf.
Here.
Holman. Here. Huber.
Here.
Is there anyone desiring to be heard? Hello.
Hello, I'm Susanna Schroeder. My address is on file for the Village of Butler, and I'm your library director. I just wanted to let everybody know that tomorrow, 10 a.m., Frontier Park, we are having our first ever Touch a Truck event. So I'm very excited. Brookfield Fire is going to be there. Thank you again. The police department is going to be there. Thanks, guys. We're also going to have a school bus from Johnson Bus, and there's one more that I'm currently
The DPW.
DPW, that's it. Thank you so much, Beth. We're gonna have a brand new dump truck. I'm excited. So I just want to remind everybody, 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's gonna be lit, but not too lit. Don't worry, Chief Captain Thomas. And then we're gonna have story time to follow. So just want to let you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else desiring to be heard?
Is this anything on the agenda?
Yes. And just your name and you'll have 3 minutes.
Richard
Name
Mathis, 131 West Stark Street. I'm curious about this charge for fire protection and how it's working. It seems to me that it's a taxable, it should be on the taxes, not on a separate item that you're paying for. We can't really claim that as a deduction when we do our taxes. And that's back in the 80s. They did the same thing. They put the storm sewer and fire protection on the taxes to keep the tax rate down. Well, that's not right in my mind. And I couldn't change it then either. But now it's going to be quite a bit larger sum. And I was wondering how you come about it, and is it going to be a set charge for each unit, or how did you come up on the cost?
We can discuss that at the agenda item. We can discuss that at the agenda item. When it's the actual agenda item,
Okay.
we can talk about it then.
Again, it should be taxes, just to keep the taxes down in Butler. You're not doing that. We're all paying it, and it's not in the right place.
And we can address that at the agenda item, and we might have more questions for you.
Yeah, I have a presentation put together
Okay.
that answers those questions.
Okay. Anyone else desiring to be heard? None. Consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda, accept the agenda as written.
Is there a second? Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Communications, anything other than the department reports?
No.
Committee reports, building board.
Building board met this evening at 5:35. We approved an occupancy for Brave Kids Big League located at 12714 West Hampton Avenue, Suite A. We approved 2 sign permits, one for Zimco Tool, 5172 126th, and the neighbor there, Bullshit Precision Machinery, 5170 126. We also approved 2 occupancies, one for Tortuga Cove, located at 4763 124th, and for Dorshak Family Tree, 5101-05 North 124th, and a report.
Thank you. Community events.
We met and we discussed let me just think about this for a second. So we finalized all of our purchase details for the Butler Night Out. Then we started planning a craft fair for the fall. And I believe that was it. And report.
Thank you. Finance committee. That would be you again. Mike,
Excuse me.
your finance committee?
Yeah, your head down.
Oh, yeah, I gotta do finance committee. I don't know, what do I normally
Uh,
say here at this point? We passed the expenditures for July and the invoices for July
Thank
and a
you.
report.
Thank you. Library board, Charlene, are you able to help us with that one?
So the library board met, oh my goodness, Monday, August 10th. We changed the date because of the election. During the meeting, we talked about trustee training week, something that's provided by the Department of Public Instruction. And of particular interest this year was a session on AI in libraries. These are recordings, so as anybody is interested, just let me know. We also announced that we have a new copier, and that was purchased by the Friends of the Butler Library. Many, many, many kudos and thanks to them for that. So now we have a functioning copier. We continued with our policy reviews, our circulation policy, our unattended children policy, and approved those. We approved the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Spent quite a bit of time discussing the 2027 budget proposal and answered many questions on that. And that's end of report.
Thank you. Community Foundation met last week. We discussed possibly getting a new fresh coat of paint on the caboose, trimming some trees, and then just kind of starting an overall plan for the Clark House as to what is needed for long-term and some of the goals and fundraising. End of report on that. The Plan Commission met tonight. A recommendation was made to send to the village board an ordinance 26-12 to update M1 industrial district zoning. End of report. Report of the administrator.
So we have several things to report. We have two special guests in the audience, but I'm going to wait till the end on that. We are continuing with the water tower project. The riser pipe in the water tower has been successfully replaced. They are now moving on to the sandblasting of the interior of the water tower. That will take about maybe another day or so. They will then clean that up and then do the painting. It'll take another 7 to 10 days for that paint to cure. They will then fill the water tower, wait for it to fill. Well, once it fills, then they will do 2 safe samples, and then they'll be good to go with hooking that water tower back up to the system. We have had a couple issues with the bypass that we've had, but we're hopeful that we've got it fixed now with CTW coming out. The road project is nearing completion. It should be done within the next week and a half after some delays on the contractor's part. But they did lay the first coat of asphalt down on all of the roads. They're going to be doing the alleyways here shortly. We did have an awesome turnout for the August 11th partisan primary. We had about 36-37%, which is above what the state normally has for that type of election. It went very, very smoothly. I was very impressed with how the election inspectors conducted that. So thank you to them. We are still kind of in the process of getting rid of that final fire truck. We are hoping that now we can sell it up to a community near in the Appleton area that were struck by one of the tornadoes. Their firehouse was heavily damaged and their fire equipment was heavily damaged. So we are in discussions with them with possibly selling them that fire truck that's remaining. But they're still waiting to get back from us because I think they had to go and do an appraisal of their damage and see if it's repairable or not. And then lastly, we have our new intern and our new assistant administrator in the audience. Nicholas Page, can you please stand up? So Nick comes to us from the village of Elm Grove. He was their intern all summer. I met him actually at La Crosse when we had the WCMA conference. He is heavily involved in student government at UWM, and he is in I think you're the appropriations like secretary leader person. Yeah, so he oversees a fund of about $300,000 that gets given out to student interest groups around the university. So we're very happy to have him. He's going to do great here. He's replacing Caitlin Huggett, who left to go to law school last week. So she was amazing. He's going to do amazing. So thank you very much. The second is
Welcome.
yes. The second is Eric. He is coming to us from the city of Verona. He also interned in the village of Whitefish Bay, and he got his master's this May from the University of Iowa in public policy. He, as part of the capstone project, he helped write a 140-page paper on capital improvements and financing policies for an actual municipality in Iowa. He also has presented multiple times in front of the village board in Whitefish Bay and Verona on a variety of topics, including his apparently very, very fond memory of the coyote management plan. There, he sent me that YouTube link in his resume, and it was very impressive what he was able to put together and how he presented it. So they'll both be starting right around August 31st, September 1st time frame. So we're very happy to have the office back to full staff. It's just going to be a little bit of a chaotic 2 weeks here while we wait for them. So end of report.
Welcome
Thank you.
aboard.
Thank you. Thank you for, if you guys wanted to leave, now would be your chance. Otherwise, you could be in for a long meeting. I would not be offended. At this time, we'll have public hearing. I'm going to open it for item A. Public hearing on ordinance 26-13, an ordinance establishing a fire and EMS services fee. I do note that during the persons desiring to be heard, we did have one public comment as to how the fee was determined or why the fee was being instituted versus staying on the taxes, and we'll address that in a presentation later on. Is there anyone else that wants to have their voice heard on this fee? None. So I'll close that public hearing with the one comment as noted. I'm going to open another public, item B, open a public hearing on approving a large gathering permit for the Optimist Club of Sussex and Lisbon, Lannon, Butler for the Hot Rods on Hampton event on September 13th, 2026. Is there any comment for this event? You could, yeah, if you'd like to, just your name. We have your address on file.
Danielle, I'm part of with the Optimist Club for the Hot Rod Hunt. And yes, it's Sunday, September 13th. Starts at 9 a.m.
And it's gonna run, basically, it's been run the way, last few years.
Yes, 9 to 3.
Okay,
Try to get everybody home for their Packer game.
that's it.
Right. Thank you. Is there anyone else desiring to be heard on the public hearing for the Optimist Club? I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to open a public hearing on item C, public hearing on ordinance 26-12, an ordinance to amend section 54-69 of the Village of Butler zoning code relating to the M1 industrial zoning district. Is there anyone that has any comment on that public hearing? None. I'm going to close that one with no comment. New business, presentation on investment earnings optimization by Tammy from Ehlers.
That's not A.
That's not it.
Huh?
Hot rods.
No, I
That's not item E.
Like,
I have new business.
yeah.
Item E is the,
Discussion
moved
of
it
possible action
to
on approving.
item A.
Well, we switched that.
I thought I have it in item.
My agenda items are those, my agenda says presentation on investment. That's not what I have.
Uh-uh.
It's not what I have.
No, it's-
new business, A.
I'm looking at it right here.
Now we updated the
I
agenda.
apologize.
This tend to have, oh, stay there. I think this was the final agenda, wasn't it?
I couldn't.
Well, let me do this.
It got.
Which
What does the
agenda
public-
is the right one?
Which one does the public have? That's,
Give me 1 second. Sorry, clerk error.
Stay there, Tammy. I didn't try to get your last name. I knew I'd butcher your last name, so.
Regardless, we're gonna get you up there.
All right, on August 18th, the agenda that was posted.
which item is
I
it
had
on
it as
mine?
E.
The agenda that was posted has it as item A.
Mm.
And then let me see if the packet might have a.
Packet would be item, yeah.
Yeah, the packet had a different, had it a little bit further down after hot rods.
All right, so because that is, since she's listed first, then we don't need a motion to change that. So Tammy will be giving a presentation. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries. And thank you for having me. I'm Danielle Trustee with Ellers. And I did include a number of village from financial management planning, debt management, and investment management. For the last couple of years, Ben and his team have worked with us to manage and invest your debt proceeds. So when you get funds for your bonds or your notes, we invest them during the project spend down so that you can earn interest during the holding period. One of the conversations that Ben and I had over the last year was really optimization of your fund balance. And what that means for you is certainly ensuring that there's sufficient liquidity and cash flow within your accounts to ensure that the bills are paid. But of course, we also have an opportunity, one of the few ways outside of the levy constraints where you can actually see a little bit of extra income or revenue is by strategic planning within your fund balance. So one of the things that we are recommending is that we build a long-range cash flow on your actual fund balance. We've done a little bit of that with liquidity planning and setting some parameters around fund balance minimums. Next step is really to start optimizing the investment strategies so that you can plan for predictable income moving forward. So one of the things that we did, in fact, on page 6, I just included kind of a basic summary. Your investment policy objectives really state your first and foremost priority with any village funds is safety of principal. So we build a program around ensuring that the funds are compliant with state statutes as well as your investment policy. Beyond that, of course, ensuring that there's sufficient liquidity. And really this next phase is building a strategy around investing those funds so that when we are looking at your annual review, you can have a really solid number of this is what we are actually earning on the investments. So the next couple of pages really just define for you some of the investment vehicles that are available to you. Because you have been doing investments in a more strategic way with your bond funds, you may be familiar with some of these terms. Most of the investments that you can purchase are very low risk. They carry some semblance of guarantee, insurance, such as FDIC or MCA coverage. We oftentimes are looking at treasury obligations, which are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. And of course, we can purchase municipal bonds, just like you can issue debt for your projects. Other municipalities issue debt. You can invest in these as well. So we are looking at things that carry some semblance of safety. And then the overall portfolio, the goal would be to build that cash flow a little bit more strategic, ensure that your policies and audits, all of the details that are kind of carry over between them are matching up. And we really then build that program so that for the next 5 years, you have a little bit of predictability with the income that you can expect, as well as offering the expertise to Ben and his team of what reinvestments look like, what strategy looks like. On occasion, we may have adjustments based on market conditions, but for the most part, we build a maturity ladder that ensures occasional liquidity while also maximizing that interest. We do ensure that you, of course, as you owe the fiduciary responsibility to your constituents. We ensure that you get the reporting that you need. So I include some sample portfolios in here, but you also will have every month a 12-month forward-looking cash flow. So you know exactly what funds are becoming available and interest income will be at your disposal. Our goal, of course, is that predictability of income. At this point, these are long-range funds. They're not funds that you traditionally use on a regular basis. Just like you have a savings plan for your home, that's kind of what we're doing with these funds. They're funds that you traditionally have not touched with limited exception. So building a long-range plan for them allows you just more tools in your toolbox when you're doing more capital improvement planning or fund management, financial management planning. These are funds that you can really build a strategy around. So on page 9, I actually have a sample portfolio for you. This is based upon a 5-year investment program. You are not locked into any specific time length or fund minimum. It really is just for sample and discussion purposes. When we built this program, it's based on $1.8 million. And over the next 5 years, you're likely to see a little over $580,000 of income. If we look at it annually, it's about $116,000. That's actual income that, in theory, you could use without ever touching your principal balance. So if you get into a bind with budgetary constraints or levy limitations, these are actual dollars that you can begin to use to expand some of your budgetary items. We do charge a fee for our services, so you may be familiar with that fee already because of the existing investment program. It's a little over, it's a 0.25 per year. That's annualized, so it's actually deducted from interest earnings every month. If we look at it from an annual standpoint, it's a little over $4,000. So just to give you some actual numbers to think about. From a percentage standpoint, interest rates do fluctuate. When we purchase investments on behalf of the village, we are traditionally looking at fixed income, which means when we buy them, these at a fixed rate. During the holding period, the price may go up and down, but the actual income that you earn is fixed. And so long as you hold it to maturity, there's no gain or loss. It's really just a fixed amount. There are times when we might recommend holding short-term or liquid funds. All that means to you is that interest rate at reinvestment may be different than, it may not always be 4%. There are times where, in fact, since I put this together, many of the interest rates that we've seen have increased slightly. So just to give you an example, it's a little over 4%. What we're seeing right now in treasury bills is about 3.5 to 3.7%, give or take. So it does fluctuate every day as we lock in rates. We'll be mindful to keep track of that for you as well. Every month you'll get that summary report. You can also see your monthly income, your monthly fee, as well as some of those bills. And then I did include that summary from a fee standpoint. That's the only fee that we actually charge to you. We don't charge any funds if you need to move money back and forth between the accounts. We make that very simple. You can move funds in if you need funds to go out. Transfer everything electronically. We don't charge you for our time other than that advisor fee. So everything's very transparent.
So just to, right now, I believe that our bank accounts are around like 3.6, 3.7% earnings. And what Tammy's alluding to is something that's going to be a little over 4% up to possibly 4.5%. So,
Some of them are over that amount.
and the thing that is key here too is right now in our budget, I have to, under best practices, keep the number of the amount of interest earnings that we have low, because we don't know, the economy could crash tomorrow, interest rates plummet, and we were budgeting on $100,000 of interest income. Well, now we're going to get maybe 20,000. And then that's an $80,000 gap that we have to close. So that's why I always keep it between $25,000 and $30,000, because that's a pretty safe bet for us. With this, when we're locking in that fixed income, that allows us to then have a certainty where we're like, we will get X amount in the year. And that will allow us to not be as constrained budget-wise where we have those other fees. So again, we're going to be earning more interest. We're going to be more guaranteed. That means that in the budget year, we're not going to have to be we won't have to cut as much as we might have otherwise had to when it comes to programs like the police department or DPW.
And this is not, this is something that you are already doing, so it doesn't require like a formal motion or approval. But it is important that you are aware that this is a slight departure from what you've perhaps done with your general fund.
Right. It makes it more liquid.
It actually, it keeps it from being too liquid. It's really identifying
Okay.
what is necessary to be liquid, and then building that bucket where you've got short-term liquid, then you have some intermediate funds with periodic maturities,
Right.
and longer-term funds, as Ben noted, that we're locking some rates in, so that you can take advantage of the current high interest rate.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it all won't be long-term, right? With the commercial paper, those don't usually extend longer than 180, yeah.
We do leverage, there are times where we'll hold commercial paper,
Yeah.
especially in interest rate plus.
Yeah, when it's
So
up.
for the most part, we will ladder out the maturity so that you will have like a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, and there may be some smaller maturities in between as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of these funds right now are sitting in money markets that,
Right.
for as long as I've been here, we've never touched. They're just sitting there collecting interest, which is great. But again, then we can better utilize it at a higher interest rate to earn more money
As they could.
to help us with budgetary constraints.
Mm.
Then who determines what risk we go at?
So much of that is already defined within your investment policy. So when we build these recommendations, we're looking at state statute, your policy, as well as fund balance requirements. So one of the very first things that we are looking at is your actual cash flow. So during the year, there are a couple periods of time where you do run really low on liquid funds. So we will be mindful to have maturities that are structured around those time periods. And again, part of this is building that liquidity parameter, so you always have sufficient cash flow. Nobody's going to throw a parade if you invest everything and end up kind of shortchanging yourself. But this whole process is about being mindful, earning, really optimizing that interest while also ensuring occasional liquidity. Rates also do fluctuate. So I think back in 2019, some of these liquid funds were really excited because they were at 2.5%. We had a lot of municipal governments that were planning their budgets around these variable, LGIP or local government investment pools that were 2.5%, which doesn't sound exciting any longer. But in 2020, they went to zero. And what that really meant is that municipalities that budgeted off of that variable rate had a sudden loss of income. So this program really is designed to build that fixed income around the safety parameters that you've already put in place.
So it would it say, be safe to say it fluctuates then between
It
the,
can, but
yeah,
this program is designed to be fixed. So
Got
we
it.
will always hold on to some liquidity for you. And what that means for you is that the portion of funds that are liquid, we oftentimes would recommend you don't budget off of.
Mhm.
But they are available to you if suddenly you have an influx of cash or during times of the year when you have a little extra cash, you may invest those funds for short periods of time. Of course, it can always be moved back and forth between your bank and your investment account. But really the goal of this would be to fix or lock in yields based upon current yields.
Thank you. So like that page 9 is hypothetical, then the feds cut the rates 100 basis points here.
Exactly. So just as a prime example, the federal fund rate is very closely tied to like a 3-month treasury bill. So when you see those rates go up and down, our goal would be to lock in some longer term yield, which provides you that fixed rate of return and that confidence in your budget. But you still have some liquidity, and those occasional maturity segments will also allow you to reinvest. If rates go up, you've got some cash flow to reinvest at those higher rates. If rates go down, you've got that confidence of those longer term rates that you have that predictability.
sounds good. Thank you.
Right, and if you guys have any questions or concerns along the way, you can always reach out. As I had suggested, we get a monthly report as well, so that you can see the progress of the program.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay, so going off of the agenda I have, it's item B would be discussion and possible action on approving a large gathering permit for the Optimist Club of Sussex in Lisbon, Lannon, Butler for Hot Rods on Hampton event on September 13, 2026, including a waiver of the permit fee.
Yes, so this is their annual large gathering permit for Hot Rods on Hampton. It's going to be operated the same way that it has been for the past several years. Leanne and Danielle both sat down with the fire department, the police department, and myself to discuss the event and how they're going to coordinate everything. I think that we have pretty much everything planned. And the waiver of the permit fee has also been granted the past several years.
I do note that we have, in the past, we've waived that fee. Is there any discussion? And a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve for the large gathering permit for the Optimist Club of Sussex and Lannon, Lisbon, Butler for Hot Rods on Hampton event on September 13th, 2026, including the waiver of the permit fee.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item C, discussion and possible action on approving a request from the Optimist Club of Sussex and Lisbon, Lannon, Butler for the exemption from 4-131(1)(b) of the municipal code regarding outside consumption of alcoholic beverages for Hot Rods on Hampton event on September 13, 2026 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes, so our village code does prohibit the open carrying of alcohol outside of the park. So this allows them to have an exemption from that, where open carry will be allowed in the park, in the parameters of Hot Rods on Hampton during that time.
And we've done that in the past as well.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Just a quick question on that. We're giving them this pass from 9 to 3, but everybody else is asking for an extension of premise on from 6 to 5. How do you, I mean, so let me understand this, right? It's for, the area, but if we're still having, the bars serving, people can still be walking amongst the roads. Am I correct in understanding that?
So I believe that I would have to check the sketches, but I think that some of them have it on the sidewalk, correct? I believe that Cardinal Club has it on the sidewalk on Derby.
People can take that and
So
go about, right?
Danielle, can you?
You would stop at 3 because our street So we would not be till 5 o'clock, and I don't start it till 9. So I do it from when the show starts but I don't know, people start leaving with alcohol before that though. So
So-
that's why I think they put 6 a.m., because that's when the show starts.
But 6 to 5 and you
Yeah,
you
five-
want,
I
you
think
want the
5
exempt.
wants till 5.
3 to 5
We
overlap
only
is the
till
concern,
5.
right?
My concern is right,
Yeah.
what stops it from leaving the parking lot of these bars or sidewalks of bars, right? I mean, we're
Yeah, I
saying
see,
that they
yeah.
can do it, it's still part of that function.
Yeah, I see that. And I think
That's my
that,
question.
I think what they do for the most part is that's part of their setup and takedown hours. I believe that I know that for bottoms up, they do some Packer stuff afterwards, but usually that's confined to their parking lot and their outside area. So I believe it's like basically for setup and takedown for those times. I can't say that they won't be able to, if we grant them that, then yes, they're going to be able to serve the alcohol during that time. But they should not be walking amongst the streets off of private property with the alcohol after 3 p.m.
Is there a concern from the police department about that one? Okay. Okay. And it's been that way in past years as well, has it not?
It
It's
has.
just it's a conflicting times is all I'm saying.
Understood, yeah, yeah.
That's it.
I saw it as well, but, okay.
I think what we could do is always revisit that if it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I've never heard of any problems. That's not what I'm bringing
I
up.
understand.
It's just
It's 2-hour difference
well, it's right.
from 3 p.m. Okay.
Both ends.
All right. Did you have any other questions? I don't know how we're going to solve that one.
It was just a question. I wasn't looking for a
Trustee
solution.
Baronic. Trustee Baronic did make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item D, discussion and possible action on an extension of premise request from Sean Bowie, agent for Bottoms Up for the Hot Rods on Hampton event for September 13, 2026, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Yes, and as I stated, I believe that when I had conversations with Steve and I had conversations with Sean, it was mainly for setup and takedown, because if they have obviously alcoholic beverages on the sidewalk or outside of their normal premise before 9 o'clock, because obviously the event starts at 9, so they don't want to be setting up as the event's taking place.
Mhm.
So I believe that that's the main reason that they have that separation. But it is a good point to make and maybe clarify for next year.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
So I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item E, discussion and possible action on, yep,
Oh, all of our phones are going off. Thunderstorm warning.
Tornado warning.
Is it tornado?
No, thunderstorms. Oh, is that? Now it is. What a world we live in.
It's all head to the basement. Oh, we don't have one. Huh?
do we have any information on this warning?
What?
Do we have any information on the warning?
Brian, I think dispatch gives out that. Brian, do you have any information on the warning that dispatch is giving out? Okay.
Okay. I now hear the tornado siren.
What he's reading?
Oh, it's gonna hit us.
Yeah.
We're in different order. No.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want us to? All right. Chief Zaluski will try to find some information out.
Yeah, if any, we do have the restrooms in the inside area there. That would be the tornado shelter. There's no
Okay.
windows and it's in the
We-
center.
Okay, so we might have to take some action.
Going off, the sirens are working.
I was gonna say.
All right, so we were on item E, discussion and possible action on an extension of premise request from Steve Saminsky, agent for Cardinal Club for the Hot Rods in Hampton event on September 13, 2026, between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Yeah, so same statements for that item.
Is there questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item F, discussion and possible action on ordinance 26-12, an ordinance to amend section 54-69 of the Village of Butler zoning code relating to the M1 industrial zoning district. I will say that we had a plan commission meeting and we did not, we had a recommendation from the plan commission to send it to the village board tonight. There's
Yes,
nothing we can-
chaos.
To approve, yes.
Yes, so they made the motion to, recommendation to approve this. This has been in the works since the beginning of the year. We've had several different meetings of the planning commission to discuss this. The interns were working heavily on this along with Aaron and I to get this accomplished. So they did make that positive recommendation tonight. We did send out public hearing notices to all of the properties within that zoning district, and nobody spoke at the public hearing or at the plan commission.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 26-12.
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. I do not have any updates on the tornado warning. I'm still waiting for Chief Zalewski to come back. Discussion and item G, discussion and possible action on ordinance 26-13, an ordinance in establishing a fire and EMS service fee.
Yes, so I do have if I can find the remote, I do have a presentation on this. This has been in the works since last year. The village, when we were moving towards the migration to another municipality for fire service after the Butler Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated voted to cease operations at the end of 2025, we started to talk about financing because we knew that this was likely going to be costing more than what we had previously, I apologize, previously been paying. We were paying about $375 a year for the fire service. This was going to be bumping us up at least a couple $100,000 on that. So after going through the whole process of the bidding with McMahon and getting bids from Wauwatosa, Menominee Falls, and a city of Brookfield, we did end up settling on the city of Brookfield. So just to kind of give you, I'm going to see if I can get a better view of this.
Is there any way to dim the lights?
It shows got it. There we go. Thank you, Joe. So how did we get here? As I stated, after the Butler Volunteer Fire Department gave their notice of termination in June, we started to investigate various ways of levying a possible fire service fee on all property owners within the village to cover the increase in costs from transitioning. We did present two options last summer, whether it be the fire service fee or a potential referendum. We knew that we were going to have to find another funding alternative because the way that the state has the tax levies is that we cannot increase the taxes in excess of the net new construction percentage that we're given every year. Obviously, we're landlocked, so our net new construction is usually very low. It's usually a couple $1,000s that we're able to increase the tax levy based off of that. The big fluctuations in the tax bill on the village's side usually come from the borrowing. We do not have any type of levy restraint on paying for borrowing. So if we borrow more or interest rates or interest payments go up, we can increase the levy for that. Usually we see the increase mainly coming from the school district as they have those referendums that did pass on that end. So we did bring to the board two options for potentially funding that, because if we did not go to this, the fire department would continually eat up more and more of our general fund balance, which would mean that we would have less money to spend on other services like the DPW and the police department. So both of these would allow us to raise the funds necessary to keep funding the fire department going forward. So we reviewed several other municipalities, fees with regards to fire service fees that they levied and met with legal counsel to determine the best path forward. Between January and August 2026, the village worked with on several potential fee structures and ordinance variations, with the best possible proposal being presented today. The village's attorney, Paul Alexi, reviewed the proposal and has served as legal counsel throughout this process and stated that this is the strongest ordinances he has reviewed and helped put together regarding this topic. Mainly, we say that because he has been able to call out certain sections of state statute that are directly referencing how we can fund, how municipal finance works. Others reference a different chapter that is a little bit shakier on legal grounds, and those have been challenged, and some of them are waiting litigation. But he's very, very confident that this is exactly how this is supposed to be, because the state does allow villages to levy service fees for various services that are provided by the municipality, including like Milwaukee does the snow plowing. We have recycling right now on the utility bill. So Wisconsin municipalities are not strangers to utilizing that law. So what is the fire service fee? So the fire service fee is a fee levied under Chapter 66 of the Wisconsin statutes regarding or relating to the municipal financing. State law allows for the levying of a fee or service provided by the municipality as long as the property tax levy is reduced by the amount it costs to provide the service in 2014. That is, again, set in state statute. That's not some magic number that I pulled out. So that is set in the statute. The fee is designed to cover the cost of providing fire and EMS services to the village, including fire suppression, community services, EMS response, and capital purchases. Then, as I stated, the fee can then grow independently of the tax levy, where the tax levy is capped at the amount of net new construction. This can increase as we need to, and if possible in the future, be reduced. So it can grow free of that, so we can be confident that we're going to be able to fund fire service operations in the village without fearing to having to cut services elsewhere to fund it. So why not a referendum? So the problem with a referendum is, in the state of Wisconsin, school districts are treated differently than municipalities. Where school districts, if they levy a referendum, it's for X amount of money, and then they can pull whatever they need during a specific year to fund the projects that they're doing. Municipalities do not have that privilege. We have to levy what the expected final amount is going to be, and then that's what we have to tax forever, basically. So at that 10, we know what the amount is going to be in 10 years because we have that in the contract that we signed with the city of Brookfield. So we have to then go to the voters, ask for the referendum. If the referendum fails, as some have failed in the past two in August did succeed, but in previous elections they have failed, then we have to then find another way of funding the fire service. This isn't just an elective thing that we can have. We legally have to have fire service, and B, it's obviously a matter of public safety. So we would be ending up in the same position here if it were to be voted down by the voters. But what this gives us is we can levy what we need right now in this year. If we did a referendum, we would have to be levying the charge that's going to be in 10 years, raising the property taxes to a much higher rate than what we would actually utilize for that. So we'd be basically overtaxing for a service that doesn't cost that much already, but we have to, by law, tax for that amount. So that's why we're going down this path, because we might end up here anyways, and B, it allows us a lot more flexibility to charge only what we need now versus what we need in 10 years. So that's kind of where this whole thought process was going. And to address the concerns of the individual that came forward, yes, the tax bill has to be reduced, and it'll be less that they can claim on their tax bill, and separating it out does lead to that disadvantage when it comes to income tax time. But as I stated, this is something that really needs to occur to be allowed to allow us to fund the fire department going forward and fund it adequately. So that's kind of why this is happening the way that it is. So how this is going to impact the residents financially, there's going to be a property tax reduction of, it seems like a very small number when I put it in a decimal place, but it's that amount per $1,000 of assessed value, which will occur in 2027 to offset some of the increase as dictated under the law. So for the average property owner, it's going to be a couple $100, give or take. It depends again on your assessed value that you'd see your tax bill get reduced. Obviously, it would depend on what other taxing jurisdictions do. So you might not see an actual number decrease overall if the school district, the county, and the technical college raise their rates. But for the village portion of it, you would see a decrease. All property types are expected to see an overall increase in costs associated with the fee. However, again, it's important to remember that the level of service being provided is much higher than what it was before. We have a EMS, a paramedic level service. The property tax is going to be reduced to offset the costs. It provides ongoing stability to the village's budget and cheaper than what would have resulted from a referendum. So this is the annual total fees. So it will be broken up into 4 quarterly installments. So for most residential properties, it'll be a $340 charge. The next slide will show after a tax reduction, I did an average of all the smaller homes, the larger, and kind of getting to the larger manufacturing and industrial properties. But we are going to be seeing a roughly a $340 charge annually for most residents in the village. However, as you can see here, the actual annual out-of-pocket cost per grouping after property tax reduction for most homes is going to be $151.06. And I think that boils down to about $38 every quarter for the level of fire service that we're going to be provided compared to what we had previously. So battery's running low. And you see a couple where you see decreases. That is because those are very low. There's a very few number of properties that are actually that large in the village, and the size of their property is actually rather small, while the assessed value is rather large. So because of the shift in the assessed value versus the size of the property, they are seeing some decreases to their annual fee. They are still going to have that fee. It's going to be a couple $1,000s, but overall, the load that they're going to have to be paying out is slightly decreasing. But you can see for the most part, most everybody else is paying a little bit more. So that's kind of my quick wrap-up presentation. I apologize. I'm a little bit out of sorts after the phones were going off, so I apologize for that.
I do have one question. Back on the slide, what is the fire service fee? On that third bullet, it talks about that the fee is designed to cover the costs, for the services, EMS response, and the last part says, and capital purchases. So that fee is going to help buy new equipment for Brookfield then?
Correct. So right now, what we're paying for this year, it's $515,000 for the services and $70,000 for capital. So
Okay.
that then rises by
Portion of it
3%.
goes-
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So we do, just an update, we do have the police monitoring the weather for us. If we have to go to the hallway, we will. It's a high wind event, possible tornado, so we're watching for everyone.
Thank you.
We have a plan in place. Does this answer your questions about why I know it's not the best solution, but it's what we're up against. I understand.
It's a taxable, it should be on the taxes, and there's gotta be some way it can be done that way. And
Right.
you understand that the amount per unit, could you put that back up?
Sure.
So you're saying a home from up to 2,500 square foot is gonna have $340?
Correct.
And how does that equate to the percentage for $80,000? 80,000. If you increase the 2,500 up to 8,000, 80,000, would that be about the same amount that they're paying per square foot?
I don't have that answer in front of me. I would have to go back and do some math on that. So I can't adequately answer that.
I don't know, should somebody just because they got a bigger property to get a bigger break on the rate?
Well, what this is designed,
There goes the battery.
the computer just ran out of battery. So I apologize for that. It's just,
So either way, we'd have to, no matter what we did, the fee would have gone up. What,
correct.
no matter what, because of the cost. I understand. Right. Right.
So to answer the kind of, I think part of the question is why is it can't go on the tax bill as a separate charge because of the way that the law is written for municipal financing and levying of charges. That can only go onto the tax bill after the property owner has been given a chance to pay the service fee. It's not going to be on the utility bill itself because it's going to be a separate bill that's sent out of cycle with the utility bill because we have to send it to the property owner under the law. Sorry, second phone. So we have to send it to the property owner under the law. We cannot send it to a tenant. I asked the village attorney, can we just put it onto the utility bill? And he said that no, you cannot, because it cannot go to the tenant. It has to go to the property owner. If the property owner then charges the tenant for that, that's a separate discussion. If the tenant comes in and pays for it, separate discussion. But we have to send the bill to the property owner just as we do the tax bill. So that's to answer why it can't go onto the utility bill and why it can't go onto the tax roll. And I understand that it's not ideal, and it should, ideally it should be part of the taxes, but the state of Wisconsin and the levy limit constraints put on us in 2008 do not allow us to do that. If we kept it on the tax bill, it would require us to cut police departments. We'd be cutting stuff from the library. We'd be cutting DPW staff services to the village, and it would basically financially ruin the village within several years.
Can I comment?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Well,
It's not going to be part of the water bill. It's going to be a separate bill that's sent out.
right. So we
The
recognize,
existing fee is so the fire protection charge that's on there is levied by the Public Service Commission that is paid for, and that's paying for the use of fire hydrants in the village. So that's not what is being covered here. That does not go to the fire department. That goes to the water utility to cover the water that's used by the fire hydrants in the case of fires and hydrant flushing and other types of events.
and we can have that discussion individually. So Trustee Holman had a comment.
yeah, just that, first of all, the level of service we're getting now is far beyond what we were getting before. And we know that safety is a huge concern for the village in all levels. Okay, and then we also recognize this may not be the ideal way to pay for it, but it is the best one that we've come up with after a lot of searching and evaluation. So that's
So a
pretty much what it
referendum
is.
could fail. So we could put it on and a referendum could fail that we wanted to put it on taxes, right? So if that would pass, we would charge the maximum of 10 years for, instead of building up, which is what it will do now. So year one would be like year 10, and we would pay that for 10 years at the rate of year 10, correct?
Correct. And then
It's just the way it's structured.
At this point, I'm going to ask just the board have the discussion. We can talk about it individually, but
So that would, is another important reason why we're doing it. We don't want to charge right out of the gate at a 10-year rate where we can build up. And if it doesn't pass referendum, we're going to go to this regardless, right? Because we have to do something. So I think the added benefit for us is to build up to it. And that's why we have, gave this for an option.
And I also note that we've been talking about this for over a year and a half. And to be honest with you, I think you're the first person to have a comment about it in about a year. So I appreciate your comments. No,
We appreciate you coming,
We appreciate it.
100%.
We need people here to give us questions.
I want you to know that we have talked about this and we have looked at, and Ben has exhausted almost every possible avenue. I do see Vicky has a question.
So, is it my understanding then that the fee is going to continue to go up every year
Correct. So the fee would increase by 3% every year because that's what is locked in by the contract. So 3% every year. That you'd be able to, yeah, you'd see that of an increase, but you wouldn't see a decrease in the taxes every single year. It's just a one time.
Does this includes every property versus a tax, correct?
Correct. So
So it would be tax exempt properties would be paying this because it's not on the tax roll?
correct. Tax exempt properties and then also properties that are currently vacant parcels would pay not the full amount. They'd be paying a smaller amount, but
Right.
even those parcels. would
Which
be
is
paying
another
something.
advantage of this
Because
structure.
everybody's paying and putting
Everybody
in for it
puts into it.
versus having it on a tax roll.
And believe me, this is not something that I want to do, but unfortunately, the state of Wisconsin does not do the best at helping fund the local governments. So this is kind of what we're faced with.
For the board, is there any other discussion? And is there? any
I'll make a
other-
motion to approve ordinance 26-13.
I'll second that motion.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. And we'd be happy to discuss, if you have questions after the meeting, we're more than happy to sit down with you.
Joe, can you get the lights, please?
Item H, discussion and possible action on Baker Tilly's 2027 through 2030 engagement letter.
So I wanted to put this in front of the board because they have been our auditors since 2008-ish. Best practice is to change your auditor every about 5 to 10 years or so, because you just don't want the same faces looking at your stuff over and over and over again. There's the risk of malaise. There's the risk of just, yep, everything is great, and they just pass it on by. In my opinion, I have requested that we at the very least change up who's in charge of our audit. So I'm asking that Michelle, who's come before you for a number of years, she gets taken off, and Andy, who's new to the team for the past couple of years, he takes over as the lead. They did say that they would be able to do a 1-year temporary extension for next year in case, and this is why I'm bringing it to you guys, in case you guys want to go out for an RFP for auditing services either sometime this year or next year to potentially see what the pricing is and to possibly bring on another auditing firm versus what we have now. I just wanted to put that in front of you. I didn't want to just sign another contract for 3 more years without passing it by you guys. Because like I said, best practice is to exchange those out every so often, but we've had the same one for almost 20 years straight.
They're willing though to move up somebody else into position to give us a different look at it. through
Correct.
the-
To be
through the-
yeah,
Through the same company,
through the same
but different
company.
eyes.
Correct.
And then we would just put out an RFP for whoever would.
Yeah, and
do
they would
that,
still
so-
bid on it, and
Yeah, okay.
anybody else would be open to that. I just wanted to pass that by you, and if you wanted to just approve that this tonight, or if you wanted us to just,
For my part, the 1-year extension I think is healthy, and then we should put out the RFP next year.
Yeah, I'd like updated pricing.
yeah, get updated. Yeah, I do have, I think in the engagement letter does have their fees, but yeah.
Mhm.
So is that
Need a motion for that, or?
yeah,
Yeah, I would like a
I'll
motion.
make a
on that.
motion to stay with Baker Tilly 1 more year and then put our RFP and explore making a change in 2028. That would be right.
I have a question on the agenda item because it says 27 through 30
Mhm.
engagement letter. So are we just doing a 1 year? Or
Yeah,
3
I did
years?
ask Wendy, who is the principal. She's like Michelle's boss. I said, we might want to go out for an RFP because I had talked to her about it earlier in the year and then everything happened. So she is okay with a 1-year extension of the contract and then doing the RFP and then doing like a 2-year or possibly just a 3-year where they would just do it till 2031 instead of 2030.
So the motion was for the 1-year extension and then
Yeah.
to visit getting a fresh face in there.
Yeah, and she can probably, I can bring another proposal in front for that
Accurate.
1 year in September.
That's a good holdover. I mean, for the record, if we've been having no problems with Baker Tilly and they're willing to switch accountants, I think that shouldn't be an issue for us.
Yeah, and they'd still be able to bid on it during the RFP.
Okay, so I believe we had a motion. Did that get seconded?
Not yet.
Or did I not? Do we have a motion? Oh, you made the
Yeah.
motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item I, discussion and possible action on approval of the 2027 through 2029 union contract with the Butler Professional Police Association.
Yes, so me, Chief Zaluski, former Assistant Administrator Kramer, and the union representative sat down, I believe in April or May of this year, and hammered out the 2027 to 2029 union contract. I did provide that contract in the packet. The changes in wording are in the red text. And then Aaron, before he left, did provide a summary of all the changes by section for you to look at. So you kind of understand all the different changes. One of the highlights that I guess I'll mention is that instead of an annual increase, there's going to be kind of steps where it's going to be a 2% increase at the beginning of the year and then a 2% increase in the middle of the year. So they annually they get their 4% raise, but the budgetary number is closer to 3%. So it helps control the cost with regards to that. We also did stuff with shift differentials, and we did expand. We gave them one more additional holiday and increased the maximum, I think it was vacation days for the top end of the ladder for longevity. And I can, me or Chief Salutsky can speak on any of those changes, but those are all detailed in the packet.
I know that both you, administration, and police put a tremendous amount of time in on this contract discussion. And both sides have agreed to the version we're presenting.
Yes.
Could I ask, how come the big jump for the sick leave accumulation,
Give me one
100 to
moment.
150 days?
Sorry.
Is that because it plays into the pension?
1 second.
Yeah, come on up.
It's,
And first of all,
Article 14 in the summary.
I missed the beginning of this, I apologize.
That's okay.
Related to sick time, I know one of the,
The accumulation of,
yeah, so
Yeah.
potential long-term, I guess, issue or concern there could be is that we have really good staff right now that does not use, let alone abuse sick time. However, after several years of building it up, several are nearing the maximum of their ability to earn sick time. So it becomes a benefit that when they're maxed out and then they earn a day a month, for example, they no longer earn that. So it no longer really is a benefit because they've done a good job for 8 or 10 years of not utilizing those sick leave. So they've been fortunate enough not to have to use it. So that's what it's for. It has nothing to do with the pension. It can't be paid out related to the pension in any way, shape, or form. So it has to do with guys that don't want to be maxed out 8 or 10 years in their career and then go, well, no, I'm not earning any type of potential benefit that I need now. So,
and then Brian, that does not increase.
From the union, just to understand. I'm not in between there, so.
And then Brian, if I remember correctly, that does not increase the termination benefit maximum. That just is the sick leave. So what they would get paid out upon retirement is not going up. It's just the sick leave that they can accrue is going up.
Okay.
So it has no hard budgetary impact in that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I know that we've talked about this in great detail up until today. So I can tell you that administration has spent a lot of time on this with trying to hammer out every little detail. And this is what works. So if there's no other questions, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the 2027 through 29, right? That's what it was?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Union contract with the Butler Professional Police Association.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you for that. Item J, discussion and possible action on resolution 26-18, a resolution to reduce the number of poll workers at county executive special election and primary.
So for those who do not know, we are going to be having a second set or a third set of elections this year where unfortunately County Executive Paul Farrow did pass away under state statute. They did have to declare a special election to fill his seat. So the primary election will happen 2 weeks after the general election in November, and then the special election to actually elect the county executive will occur on December 15th. So for both of those, we're not expecting a huge turnout. It's not going to be like this past election. So we do not need to have 7 poll workers. We can have 5.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2618 to reduce the number of poll workers at the county executive special election and primary.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item K, discussion and possible action on resolution 26-19, a resolution to request Waukesha County Collections recover and charge commission payout and 2 debitors of the village.
Yes. So currently, most of our debts go to SDC, the state debt collection. They've been very successful in collecting past due payments that are due to the village, usually in the form of parking tickets and municipal court citations. We haven't sent them anything besides ambulance billing we've sent to them. But this is kind of a secondary backup where Waukesha County does have a collections department. We haven't typically used them for much because they have historically charged the village 28% of as a commission. So instead of if we had $100 transmission to them, they would be taking $28 and we'd get 72. So when in talking with them, with possible things with the library and the other citations that SDC has rejected because of we don't have matching social security numbers or they're just marked as uncollectible because they're a business, we don't have the FEIN number. Waukesha County does not require that. They do their own legwork to find that information and reach out to those people and then collect on that debt. And in talking with Valerie, the new head of that department, she's actually said, well, the ones that we have, we can close out the accounts and reopen them and create new ones where we would actually charge the debtor the 28% instead of the village. And we just need a resolution from the village basically stating that that's what you want to do. So then we'll get our full amount, they'll get their 28%, but the debtor is paying for that instead of the village.
Yep.
So that's kind of what this resolution will take care of.
Doesn't hurt to try it.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 26-19.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item L, discussion and possible action on resolution 26-20, a resolution to honor and express appreciation to former trustee Thomas Sardina for his years of service to the village of Butler.
Yes, so this is thankfully the last item on the new business before the closed session, so we're almost there. But Tom served the village from, I believe, 2018 to just this past July. He did have to resign for personal reasons, so this resolution is to honor and express appreciation for his years of service to the village on the various committees and making sure that the village remains as vibrant as it can be.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve 2620.
I'll second again.
A motion has been made and seconded. Discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. And thank you, Tom, for your many years of service. Now we're going to get into the closed session. Item A, closed session. The board may consider conveying into closed session pursuant to section 19.851B Wisconsin stats to consider dismissal, demotion, licensing, or discipline of any public employee or person licensed by a board or commission. The board may convey back into open session to take action on the items discussed in closed session. The item of discussion, bartender license denial appeal of Vidal Hernandez. for that, I'd like to have you in the room, the police department, and then Vidal.
And then a member of Altauca Police is here as well. I would like her to sit in.
Then they can stay in here as well. And then we will go into closed, and then looking ahead, Charlene, I'd like you to stay, if you could stick around for then the item B. We'll call you back in. Okay. I need a motion to go into
Make a
closed.
motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Call the roll.
Benjamin,
Yes.
Veronica,
Yes.
Baylor,
Yes.
Kasdorf,
Yes.
Holman,
Yeah.
Huber.
Yes.
What's that? Well, the tornado alert overrides it. I know.